Good evening. The following video may contain strong language and some strong sexual contact. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello, what's happening? Today I want to talk to you in a two-part message all about the Bible view of sexuality. Now, human sexuality, especially all of their physical, emotional, and spiritual intricacies, was God's invention. He gave sexuality to his human creations as a gift with two functions. One, to perpetuate the human race, and two, to create an intimate bond between husband and wife. The right use of sexuality leads us to understand intimacy with God in greater ways. The wrong use of it destroys intimacy in his place. Now, in order to understand the biblical view of sexuality better, we will examine their multifaceted nature, one aspect at a time. Now, if you have your Bible, handheld Bible, or your Bible app on your cell phone, please mark the following scriptures down and read them as part of your homework assignment. Okay? Therefore, you're going to want to need them as you apply it with your families. Now, the first mention of sexuality in the Bible here is in the Garden of Eden. Now, in Genesis 1:27-28, God told Adam and Eve to be fruitful and multiply, filling the earth, a command that necessitates sex. Shortly after that, we read that Adam, in Genesis 4:1, knew his wife Eve, and she conceived. That use of the word knew is the more complete translation of the concept than more modern phrases such as had sexual relations with. This phrase suggests much more than a physical act. When Adam knew his wife, the first couple was experiencing sexuality the way God has gifted to each other. Sex was to be a unifying action they entered into together that was to be unlike any other connection. It was specially designed by their Creator to be the most intimate action two humans could experience. Within covenant marriage, sexual union is the binding force that draws the couple together as one flesh and only one flesh. Mark Genesis 2:24 and Matthew 19:6. They discover and share with each other in ways that are exclusive to the couple and creates a sacred unity. Now, whatever God creates, Satan reverses it. It did not take long for fallen humanity to distort and destroy God's sacred gift for sexuality. By the time God gave the law to the Israelites, he had to forbid all sorts of sexual perversions that were accepted by the cultures at the time. God has already designated one man for one woman since creation, but now had to clarify and forbid all manner of perversions people had invented. And as far as the population of the earth increased, God tightened the ethical boundaries about marrying close relatives. Leviticus 18 and 19 details many of those forbidden practices, such as sex with a close family member, adult, and homosexuality. Especially polygamy was tolerated during the Old Testament times, partially due to the lack of options for single women and the need for men to have many sons for survival of the family line. The practice was fairly non-existent by New Testament times. What I know for a fact is Jesus reiterated God's initial purpose for marriage when asked about divorce. So in Matthew 19:3-6, Jesus said, "At the beginning, the Creator made them male and female, and said, for this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and the two will become one flesh, and only one flesh." So they are no longer two, but one flesh. Therefore, what God has joined together, let no one separate. Being the husband of only one wife, and I say one wife, was the requirement for church leadership. 1 Timothy 3:2 and 12 and Titus 1:6. Next, we then follow a significant percentage of the world's problems stem directly or indirectly from our abuse of God's gift of sexuality. Imagine the world we would have if every human being followed God's standards for sexuality. Abortions, divorce, STDs, AIDS, pornography, sex trafficking, fatherless children, single mothers, rape, abandoned babies, and pedophilia would all stop, cease, or be greatly reduced. The ripple effects of those changes alone would completely transform every continent, every nation, and every culture. Economies would rebound, disease would plummet, and all mental institutions would have empty beds. And finally, God knows what he is talking about when he includes boundaries with his gifts. Electricity, and I want you to notice this, is an incredible discovery, and if used correctly, benefits all mankind. Used incorrectly, however, electricity can maim or kill. So it is with the power of human sexuality. When we seek to live within healthy boundaries, God instituted within the healthy boundaries God instituted for our well-being, sexuality is once again a very good gift. Now, you may find this very hard to believe, but when I was watching a movie called The Sound of Freedom, it was all about sexual trafficking. Kids these days are are breaking boundaries every now and then with their families to the point where slavery is happening all over again. Not to mention, it is just, not to mention, kids get arrested for doing sex trafficking, while adults get arrested for child pornography and so forth. Really, I don't care whatever you say that, it's just as that, as far as the movie is concerned, it was said to be a blockbuster, and yeah, I really liked it, but it's just as that between the children and adults, they have to be very, very, very careful as to what kind of performance their own thing would do as far as boundaries. Everybody has boundaries, that's true. Everybody has their own limitations, that's true. But you just can't go around trying to molest that person or to sexual offend that person, even when you are not responsible for this at all. So you have to be very, very, very careful make sure you keep your hands to yourself at all costs, and most of all, think as to how a parent would do. Because literally, if you keep this up, then obviously you're going to be arrested for like up to 50 years in prison. And I must tell you something. That's something most of the families would not be very pleased about. In addition, you could also end up on the Steve Wilkos show and take a lie detector test. And believe me, I have seen the show many times before, and to be quite honest, almost every male and female failed the lie detector test, indicating the results are deceptive on every question, saying you've done this to your child, or saying you've done this to your spouse, in a way that everybody would seem to want to make it your business and to make it even worse. Bottom line, well, that's all the time we have for today. So now I just wanted to let you know that that was the first part of the series of messages that I have done. On this series of message, on the next one, I'm going to be talking to you in part 2 about androgyny. And in this one, it talks about the quality of being neither feminine nor masculine. And the list goes on and on and on. And I will be also giving you so many information all about many people would decide to look at a political point of view, and at the same time they would look their appearance as far as what they are, so forth. Well, I'll see you again next time. Thank you for watching, and please do me a favor. Always respect male and female. Thanks. Bye.